Good morning friends, welcome back to today's session. Let us continue with the basic economic concepts. Last class we have discussed about a few concepts and finally we stopped by the point utility and its features. So today first of all let us discuss about total and marginal utility. Let us write today's first word, total utility and marginal utility. Total utility and marginal utility. Total utility and marginal utility. Utility also known as util. Okay. Now what is mean by, let us just lightly recollect what is utility. Utility refers to the want satisfying power of a commodity. The features we discussed and we are very clear with the utility. Now what is mean by total utility? Total utility. Total utility or total util refers to the entire amount of satisfaction. The entire amount of satisfaction obtained from consuming a given quantity of a commodity. Total utility. Total utility is the entire amount of satisfaction from consuming a particular commodity, a given amount of commodity. In that cases, you may have number of commodities. Consumption of these commodities may give you utility, satisfaction. And finally, at the end of all the consumption process, we get total utility. And what is the total utility? The entire amount of satisfaction. Now what is marginal utility? Marginal utility is the additional utility towards to the total utility when one more units of commodity added into the consumption. Marginal utility is the addition utility towards the total utility. Towards the total utility, then only when we add one more commodity into the consumption. So that is what a marginal utility. Marginal utility, or else let me explain very clearly. Let the number of mangoes consumed be equal to n. Then the last mango consumed by the consumer is the end mango, at the end of that mango, and is n minus 1. So the mango is the one before last. N minus 1 means the mango one before the last. So in such a way, we can easily calculate the total utility, or we can calculate the marginal utility. Marginal utility is the additional utility added towards the total utility when one more units of commodity consumed. Let us take an example. Here I am explaining you number of units of a commodity consumed, like 1, 2, 3 and 4 units consumptions of one particular commodity. I am writing my utility, my total utility. So this is the total utility, TU. So what is my total utility? It is difficult to express the utility, but for understanding this concept, we can cardinally or ordinally express the utility. So here I am using some digits to express my utility. For example, first when I have consumed one commodity like an orange, after eating an orange, I have got some satisfaction And that satisfaction, if I mention with a particular number, that means I am just mentioning is 10. 10 is my utility. The number 10 is the satisfaction what I have earned or received after consuming this number 1 unit of any commodity. Similarly, when my consumption continues from one to another commodity, we also consume. One more commodity is consumed. In that cases, my total utility must increase. So my total utility increased. Total utility increased 10 to 18. 10 to 18. So what is here? The additional utility brought here. Let us calculate. We will calculate, we can understand. So first of all, let me write all the total utility. So again my total utility increased here. Okay, 20, 20. Enough. Total utility, when I consumed 1 unit of commodity, I have got 10 utility, my satisfaction. When my consumption continues from one to another, the next one, my total utility increased. Again 3 units of apple I have consumed, I have got 20 units. Total utility is the total satisfaction obtained. The total satisfaction, the total amount of satisfaction obtained from consuming a commodity. So this is my total utility of these 3 items. Okay, first separately 10, 18, 20. Now to get to my marginal utility. What is marginal utility? Additional utility added towards the total utility. Here the total utility is, what is the total utility when I consume the number 1 commodity? Total utility is 10. Therefore there is no additional utility. So we can just put a dash here. No additional utility because initial stage I consumed only 1 mango and I got utility 10. That is my total utility. When my consumption increased, 1 more mango I consumed, then whatever that satisfaction is added to the total. So I am getting 18. So how to calculate marginal utility? What is the additional utility you created there when you consume the second mango? For that we have a formula. Symbolically we can write that it is marginal utility of n commodity. Nth commodity is equals to total utility of n commodity minus total utility of n minus 1. This is the symbolical expression to find out marginal utility or to obtain marginal utility from total utility. By using this formula, what is the marginal utility that here I got? Total utility of nth. The nth commodity is 18. Last utility. And what is minus n minus 1? What is n minus 1? I told you, the last mango consumed is nth term and that mango is before last, one before last. So 18 minus 8. Sorry, 18 minus 10. So 18 minus 10, what is the answer? Is 8. So 8 is my additional utility added to the marginal total utility. Additional, how much additional satisfaction I got? If my utility expressed in a number, then it is 8. And total 10 plus 8, 18. Clear? Again, the same way the third one, my total utility increased. Therefore, we can write 20 is the total utility minus 18 is equal to 2. So 2 is the additional utility added towards the total utility. 18 plus 2 is 20. So in such a way, we can calculate the marginal utility. So symbolical form is of calculating or obtaining the marginal utility is marginal utility of n is equal to total utility of n minus total utility of n minus 1. Is that clear? Similarly, we can also say that then what would be the total utility? Total utility is equal to sum of all the marginal utilities. So we can say sum, symbolically sigma, sum of all marginal utilities, sigma mu, or else we can write how marginal utility of 1 plus mu 2 plus marginal utility of nth type. The sum of all marginal utilities together is total utility. How to find out total utility from marginal utility? This way. Or how to find out marginal utility from total utility? This way. So these are the two symbolical expressions of marginal utility and total utility. Okay, note it down. Clear? Okay. So we have understood two of the concepts here. One is total utility and another one is marginal utility. And we have got a formula to calculate marginal utility, that is this one. Okay, I think you have noted. Now the utility what is observed here, if you observe here, we can understand the two factors. What is the factor? About the total utility, there is a constant increase in total utility. You can see an increase in nature of total utility. So you can write total utility always increases when one more units of commodity consumed. Whereas what about the marginal utility? Additional utility not increasing, but that is diminishes. See, the first one is 8 additionally, the second one is 2, it decreases. So marginal utility diminishes. So the such a way if you say, we can say that is called diminishing marginal utility. We will study in another chapter the law of diminishing marginal utility next year very clearly. So the general two concepts you keep in mind that in this table total utility always increases, but there is a chance that can falls, that you will study later. But in general way we can say total utility increases at a particular level, but marginal utility diminishes. So this increases and marginal utility is diminishes. This is the differences or the nature when we observe this table in the concepts of total utility and marginal utility. Is that clear? Right. Then we move to the next term, that is production. You can also write production. Production. What is mean by production? Before studying production, you must know who is a producer. Who is known as a producer? One who creates goods and services. One who produces goods and services, known as a producer. One who utilizes, one who uses all those factors of productions in their production process, known as a producer. An entrepreneur, an individual, a particular firm, they are producers who use all those factors to produce one particular commodity. So a producer is a person who uses all the factors of productions to produce one commodity. Clear? Then what is production? Production is the act of making goods and services. What is production? Act of making goods and services. You can write production is the act of making goods and services. The act of making goods and services. Or in simple sense we can say production means creation of utility. Production means creation of utility. Creation of utility. What is utility? One satisfying power of the commodity. When a producer produces any commodity which has the capacity to satisfy human wants is called, then we can create a utility there, that is called a production. So production can be defined in two ways. In a simple sense we can say creation of utility is called production, or act of making goods and services is called production, or else we can say transformation of inputs into output. Transformation of changes of those inputs. What are inputs, sir? The items that we use to produce one commodity. Let us come to the point. What are required to produce? What is called that? Those items are generally known as factors of production. What is known as factors of production? Factors of production. What are factors of production? Factors of production are, what are those? Factors of production are the resources, the various resources used to produce one particular commodity is known as factors of production. What are called or named the factors of production? There are four types. What are those? Land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. So you can write land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. Land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. These are the four factors of production. These are the four factors, four inputs that a particular producer uses to produce one commodity. So production is always based on these factors of production. Without the use of factors of production, no one can produce. Can you say an example that you are a producer? Suppose I am a producer of rice, I am a producer of meat or producer of anything. I must produce that commodity with the help of these four. Without this, I am unable to produce. I need land, I need laborers, I need capital in terms of money as well as in terms of tools. I need an entrepreneur who look after the time. All these variables are used together, then we are able to produce one quantity of or any quantity of one commodity. So that creation is known as production. So factors of productions are very important. That's why I said changes into physical transformation of the physical inputs into physical output. So this is also called the production. So what are factors of production? Factors of productions are four: land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. What is production? Creation of utility or the act of making goods and services known as production. To produce a firm or an individual require factors of production. All these four. Clear? And what is land? Land is very clear. It is a gift of nature. Land, forest or minerals. These are the God gift or the natural gifts. Lands. Laborers are people. Okay, I am a laborer who use my efforts and my both physical and mental efforts to teach you. So I am being treated as a labor. I am a labor. Okay, we all are laborers. Okay, one who use their mental and physical efforts. Okay, all those efforts, human efforts involved in the process of a production, which is known as labor. Capital. Capital is considered as it can be man-made or produced means of production. Okay, capital, man-made and produced means of production. It can be tools and machines, or it can be the installations money, or the amount that is used to start a business is known as capital. Entrepreneur, in the same cases, the person, one who organizes the production and takes the important decisions regarding the production and bears the risk of an uncertainty involved in the production. Okay, the entrepreneur must ready to take all the difficulties, all the risk in their business. I am ready. That's why I started a business. Business is something, is an activity. It's a risk-oriented activity. It's a risky one. Business. Nobody knows whether if you start a business, it succeed in future or later. Okay, it's a risk-bearing entity. So entrepreneur must bear such risk-bearing factors. So that persons are known as entrepreneur. Now all these factors of production, they may get some remunerations. What are these remunerations? Remunerations, rewards towards them. Land get a reward. If a farmer use 1 acre of land for cultivation, the owner of the land must get some reward. What is the reward? That is called the remuneration. What is the remuneration of land? Land must get rent. So what is the remuneration? Rent. Remuneration. Remunerations towards the factors of production. Land get rent. Okay. Similarly, labor get wage. Capital get interest. And entrepreneur get profit. So rent, wage, interest, profit. These are known as remunerations towards factors of production. Remunerations towards factors of production. Factors of production are for land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Land gets rent, labor gets wages, capital gets interest, and entrepreneur get profit, known as remunerations. Clear? Understand? Okay. Then we move to the next. You just note it down. Okay, noted. Let me rub it and we will go to the next. Next is price. You will write price. What is mean by price? What is known as price? Okay, we all know that. What is price? What is price, anybody? Okay, it's just to purchase one commodity, we are in need of some amount. Okay, what is that amount? In order to acquire a particular thing, a consumer are in need of certain amount. That amount is said as the price of that commodity. So what is price? The price of a commodity is the unit or the amount of money. The unit or amount of money that has to be given for what? In order to acquire, to get to that commodity. Just to get to one particular type of commodity, what is the money unit, money that I have given is known as price. In order to get a shirt, okay, I need to purchase a shirt. So what is the price of a shirt? Price of a shirt is rupees 500 rupees. Rupees 500 is the price of a shirt. So the amount I need to require, I need to spend to get to that shirt is 500. So that 500 is known as the price. Clear? Are you clear? Okay. So goods and services have prices. I told you. All economic goods have prices. All economic goods possesses prices. Why? What are the reasons? Do you remember? Every economic goods have prices. Why? Yes. It is because those goods have utility. They have utility. That is why they have price. Only with that? No. Then what else? Those goods are scarce in nature. Scarce in nature. Scarcity. For example, the demand of any item, okay, in the AC during summer season, air conditioner. The demand of air condition is much higher than the winter season in summer, during summer. But the availability of those products are less than the quantity demanded. We are in need of 100 ACs, split ACs, but in the market it is available only 500. So what is happening? Less supply. Demand is more than supply. So therefore that can occur, creates a price. It is scarcity. Due to scarcity, the price. If it is available lavishly in the economy, for example, air. Air is available, freely available. Oxygen, you are not giving any price to get 1 kilo of oxygen. Or will it be available in the markets? In India, it is not available. But whereas in China, latest news has spread there, they are giving tinned pure oxygen. Okay, pure oxygen in a tinned container. In a container. They are selling it. That is latest news. I don't know whether it is right or not. I have read it. But in India, it is okay, air is free. So those goods are free goods, not scarce in nature. But regarding the air condition, regarding the car, the TV, the other goods are scarce in nature. They are not enough. And that is why they have price. What is price? The quantity, the amount, the price that paid in order to acquire a particular commodity is called the price of that commodity. Clear? Understand? Okay. Then who determines the prices? Can you, it is you? Is it the producer? Or is it the supplier? Or is it the consumer? Who has the right to determine the price of one commodity? Okay. The shirt cost, the chalk cost is 10 rupees in the market. Who determines the price? Is the producer determines. If I am the producer of economic textbooks and I said the economic textbook cost is okay 1000 rupees. Will you purchase? If you can purchase, the rest people will not, because it is not affordable price. The price is too high. So I am not the person who determine the price. Then who? It is the market forces, demand and supply. Price of a commodity is determined through the market forces, demand and supply. It is not any single firm. It is not any single producer. Or it is not we. Then who else? It is the market forces, demand and supply. So price is determined by demand and supply. Okay, it is determined by demand and supply. These are known as market forces. Market force. Invisible market forces. You cannot see. You can't see the demand and supply, but you can, they determine the fixation of the price of the commodity as those goods are scarce in nature. Clear? Okay. Now we will see the another term, that is inflation. Right? Inflation. Inflation. What is mean by inflation? What is mean by inflation? Inflation is generally defined as the process of persistent and appreciable rise in the general price level. Persistent and appreciable rise in the general price level. So we need to discuss what is general price level. General price level. If this general price level increases, that leads to inflation. So what is meant by general price level? General price level refers to the average level of prices. Average level of price. It refers to the average level of price of all goods and services produced in the economy. Average level of price of all goods and services produced in the economy. If this price increases, then that leads to general. If that price increases, that leads to inflation. Is that clear? So what is inflation? Inflation is generally defined as the process of persistent and appreciable rise in the general price level. General price level refers to as an average level of price of all goods and services produced in the economy. There is a chance in the economy this general price level can either increase or decrease in the economy. This general price can increase or decrease in the economy. During a particular period of time in a financial year, if this general prices increases, that is known as inflation. General price level can either increase or decrease in a particular period of time. If it increases during a specified period, then that known as inflation. Then you may have a doubt. Is inflation required in an economy? Inflation is very urgent. Inflation is necessity in the economy. Why? Inflation is considered as or regarded as the accelerator to the economy. Like accelerator. What is accelerator? Accelerator is a particular equipment in the vehicle or which uses to increase the speed. We have accelerator, bike accelerator, car accelerator. It increases the speed. Similarly, inflation is considered as an accelerator to the economical growth. A country needs to be developed only when there is inflation exists. It is must. But sometimes this inflation can be unhealthy. Sometimes this inflation must what we can say becomes excessive in nature. What is required is a less percentage in an year, but the inflationary rate is more than that. Then that situation it becomes excessive and unhealthy to the economy. It will never negatively affect the economy. There are many types of inflation, like crawling inflation, walking inflation, running inflation, and galloping inflation. Crawling, very slow growth rate. In an year, in a particular financial year, if the inflation rate increases from, okay, we can say like 1 to 2% in an year, it is crawling, very slow movement. Whereas after crawling, we walking little faster than this. Then running, more faster than that. Then galloping, super fast. So every country requires a running inflation, which is less than 10% in a year. If the inflationary rate crosses in a single digits, or if it reaches or crosses 2 digits in a year increase, then definitely that is going to be harm in the economy. So if our inflation rate is 11% in a financial year, definitely it is negatively, it is going to affect negatively in our country. Immediately the Reserve Bank of India may take some remedies to control this inflation. So inflation is very necessary in an economy for its growth. What is inflation? Persistent and appreciable rise in the general price level. Rise in the general price level. It can increase and decrease. If this general price decreases, that is known as deflation. If the general price level decreases, which can cause deflation. A persistent and appreciable falls in the general price. Same thing, one is falls, another one is rise. Rise and falls. Rise in general price known as inflation, and falls in general price known as deflation. Okay? Keep in mind, inflation is necessary. Inflation is necessary, and it is very important for the development of a country. In a year, inflation must be there like an accelerator, but it should not cross the 2 digits inflationary rate. If it reaches in that cases, that would be dangerous. It must have a negative effect, adversely affected to the economy. Immediately, it is the rule of right of the government that government has to bring number of problem solving methods to control this inflation rate. You can see that vegetable inflations, okay, money inflations, different types of inflations you will see in the economy. But it is must, but it should not be galloping type. It must run. Inflation must run like an accelerator. Okay, keep in mind that. I think up to here you are clear, right? Okay. Let's stop here up to inflation, and the next concepts we will discuss by next class. So you need to revise it very clearly. And here I want to say one thing. After the completion of one chapter, there are number of very short answer questions. Very short answer questions, and all those questions you need to write answer in the fair copy according to the chapter wise. So it is a work for you. Without fail, you need to do it. Okay, after your it's not immediately after the class, but whenever you are free. Okay, after reducing the tensions regarding the left examinations of class 10, you can complete this work. Also, before coming to the school towards class 11, you make sure that these types of works must be completed in the fair copy, and so that you will be very clear with the subject, new subject, initial stages. You may face some of the difficulties to understand it. You may have problem of grasping the concepts there. You may not be getting the time to read the textbooks. Okay, utilize all those time and make sure that you start to love the subjects and your subject teachers. Therefore, you will be more safe. Okay, you may start love the subject. Okay, the subject is economics, commerce, accountancy, 3 important subject in the commerce stream. So you need to love the subject, you need to start study the subject, you need to complete the question answers in the fair copy. Okay,